Cortes, and I'm a critic, and welcome back. We're continuing the NFL preview division by division. We did the NFC West, and now we're going to the AFC West. And yes, we're talking about the team that could potentially go for a three-peat. And I'm doing everything in my power to jinx it because I like chaos. Plus, I feel like some Chiefs fans are becoming the new Patriot fans. They're getting a little bit too big for the britches, if you know what I mean. So, in order to cause chaos, we're going to talk about the AFC West, and the team that I feel like is going to be the worst team might surprise you. Initially, I had another team, but then I saw their play of their quarterback, and somehow I felt more confident. So that means by default, I am sorry. I am rooting for Pierce's first year as a head coach. I am rooting for the Las Vegas Raiders defense to be a formidable foe and to ruin Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes' Christmas. Ha ha! Again, your quarterback play makes me more concerned. And Denver, the team that I think everybody's probably predicting to be the worst team in the West, I feel more confident with Bo Nix, and I'm happy because I've been rooting for Bo Nix when I did my draft review, and I've been rooting for him since he was a quarterback at Oregon, even though I liked him again at Auburn. But I've been rooting for Bo Nix, and hopefully he succeeds. So that means you guys have no quarterback. Gardner Minshew is named your starting quarterback, and I feel like that just means that the quarterback you had a rookie on that you felt confident on, you don't. You have doubts. You have questions. That's why I have you at best 9-8. At best, because I am trusting defense. I think your defense is going to be the modern day Raiders of old, where you're going to just be legally hitting players and being non-personal fouling players and being the Raiders that we all remember, where you basically make quarterbacks like Mahomes and Justin Herbert miserable. I am looking for that. Devontae Adams is still there, and boy, that guy is probably begging for a trade. But I do have you 7-10 in case things go south. And if things go south, I am putting money right now. Devontae Adams will be traded. Yeah, I'm doing that. Now, news just came around that apparently Tom Brady, I know some of you still have PTSD when you hear that name. Apparently, he has partial ownership of the Raiders now. Also, major restrictions to where he can go. Fascinating. So, I guess Tom Brady is taking the tuck rule and also becoming your new boss. Fun. That sounds like Tom Brady. That sounds like something he would do. This guy, man, man. I guess when you have no football and you're single, I guess you can do what you want to do. Yeah, Tom Brady Enterprises. Here we come. Watch out. But week 2 at Baltimore, then you week 8 at Kansas City, then week 9 at Cincinnati. The big thing is, if you want to have any sense of people paying attention to you, you got to beat Baltimore. I know it's week 2, but that means Baltimore could potentially go 0-2, and I feel like they're not going to be 0-2. Hell, if they lose to Kansas City, they might put their frustration on you and put a hurting on you. But the Raiders, man, the quarterback play concerns me. The quarterback play concerns me. You brought Gardner Minshew, who's been a journeyman himself, and you want us to feel confident. I feel confident in the defense, but even great defense can only do so much. I mean, you got to at least score points, guys. And teams like the Chargers and the Chiefs, they're going to put points, even against good defenses. So you can't get lucky all the time. As for your offensive and defense MVP, I'm going for the rookie. Brock Bowers, the tight end out of Georgia. I am giving the rookie going to be your offensive MVP. I feel with Gardner Minshew and even I'll call AOC, he's going to be utilized so much more effectively because I feel like tight ends are safety valve for all quarterbacks. Brock Bowers, I am hoping will be what Jimmy Graham was in his prime in New Orleans, where basically he was more dangerous than the wide receivers that you have. Now you have a player like Devontae Adams on that field, so maybe I'm kind of pushing too much hope that he'd be. But I'm telling you, Brock Bowers is my confidence in being your MVP for offense. Defense, Max Crosby. Is it really a surprise that Max Crosby is not everyone's defensive MVP? He has been vocal when it comes to the hiring process of Pierce. He has been vocal on the command of the defense and the team itself. That honestly, the face of the franchise to me is Max Crosby. But even with all that praise and glory, your verdict I give you guys, you guys are not going to make the playoffs. I'm sorry. I see you guys getting a top 20 pick. Maybe 17th. That's probably why I want to think about it. Now, granted, that could change to a top 10 pick if you trade Devontae Adams. I mean, if things go really south, that might be the case. But at the end of the day, guys, the rest of the division seems a little bit more ahead of you, and you're the only one that I feel that has major question marks at quarterback even after everything has happened. So, sorry, Raider Nation. I guess you're all going back to a black hole. So, that's the Raiders. That means you probably already know who is the third team I'm going to pick. And because they have quarterback questions that I kind of feel I answered. Granted, a lower record than the Raiders. I have them 8-9. That could either be a 9-8 and a 7-10. I'm trusting Bo Nix. And Denver has a lot of question marks with the team in general. Like, I didn't even know who was technically their best defensive player besides Patrick Surtain. Spoilers. They never bring back Justin Simmons, who went to Atlanta, and Justin Simmons, who was one of your best defensive players, was basically homeless for months, which made me feel like that. I guess nobody appreciated the man. So looking into it, 8-9, 7-10. Yes, I know the Raiders had a much higher ceiling, but I feel a little bit that Denver will have a chance to be better. That I can see them being 8-9. Maybe 9-8, but I'm pushing on that one. But I feel like they just feel like a better team. That they'll be 8-9 and the Raiders will be 7-10. Like that could be where I'm feeling it, or they both be 7-10, both big. Week 6 versus Los Angeles against Harbaugh. That'd be a nice little test. Week 9 at Baltimore, and then Week 10 at Kansas City. Big test towards the first half of the season. Definitely gonna be a way to see a Bo Nix. Hopefully have enough time to get himself, confident enough. I mean, he's been named the starter. I'm rooting for the guy, and I'm feeling that if Bo Nix shows out, it will be like, wow. We suck at recruiting, at evaluating quarterbacks, apparently. Who thought Zach Wilson was a great idea? Hell, Justin Fields is on the second team, and even he's not even the starter on that. So I guess a lot of us, we don't know what we're talking about, even those that get paid to. We just look at things and say, that looks like that, and that sounds like that. So, offense and defense MVP for the Broncos. I got Bo Nix. Yes, I'm putting all the chips on Bo Nix being the best offensive player for the Broncos. And, of course, Patrick Surtain as your best defensive player. It's amazing how Denver once had players that they have drafted like Chubb and Miller. And then, for some reason, they let him go. It's amazing. You thought they were going to do something great, and then they don't. And now you're here with Pat Surtain, who is saying, well, there's no pass rush. How I can only do so much as a great corner. It happens. So with all the positives and all the praise, Denver, your verdict for me is still the draft. You're going to get a top 15 pick. I'm sorry. Now, maybe Travis Hunter. Now, granted, if you guys win 7 games, you're not going to get Travis Hunter. He'll be gone way before that. But if somehow if you were to really suck, you get the local Colorado kid named Travis Hunter to help out. And versatility just speaks volumes of entertainment, not to mention media and money and merchandise. But besides all that money talk, even if Denver, I think Denver is not getting the cash prize. Now, granted, it's only been 1 week in college football. Who would have thought Joe Burrow and Daniels, both from LSU, were going to be Heisman winners and be as highly drafted as they were? I guess we didn't. So we'll see what the future holds for the rest of college football. But for me, for Denver, top 15 pick. Your division's a little bit too much for you, and I love Bo Nix, but I'm putting a lot of pressure on Bo Nix here. That means the next 2 teams are kind of obvious. I think it's kind of obvious, but for only the reason is they have a competent quarterback who has proven has been to the playoffs compared to the other 2 franchises. and their quarterbacks. So I have to give the Chargers the nod. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that Harbaugh's going to come in. He's going to make the Chargers, he's scared of the Chiefs. Aha, there you go. I fixed it. And become a threat. Okay. Now, injuries to Herbert. That's the big thing that people are kind of like, being a little scared about. It's like, ooh, Herbert's hurt. Ooh. The receiving core is depleted. Ooh. Their defense has a lot of veterans, but they don't scare. I mean, Khalil Mack doesn't scare me. Bosa doesn't scare me. Derwin James doesn't scare me as they once did. Not saying because they're bad. I'm just saying that I don't know. They maybe they're a little bit slower. Maybe they're a little bit weaker. Maybe they're just the Chargers defense that sounds scary is just not. It's like going to a bad horror movie. And I don't know how much can Harbaugh do in his first year when he's basically going into a depleted team, especially in the offensive side, which I think that was Harbaugh's strength. Now Harbaugh does like running the football, so maybe. But then Austin Eckler's gone, so it's a lot of question marks on the Chargers side. But even with all that, as long as they have Justin Herbert and he's healthy, they still have a chance. So that's why I give them a 10-7. And if things go south, like somehow they lose to Denver and the Raiders in the worst time, 8-9. That might be their best for them. Week 4 versus Kansas City, Week 11 versus Cincinnati, and Week 12 versus Baltimore. Now, granted, those 3 games take place in SoFi, so it takes place where the Chargers are the home team. Hopefully that will help in pressure because these are the 3 teams that you're going to need to beat or somehow get majority wins over if you want to talk about playoff positioning. Because you're going to need it when it comes to placement. Because let's be frank, unless somehow you can dethrone the Chiefs, you're going to go to a wild card. And maybe it's best to figure out which team you best go for. Maybe it's best to go be the highest ranked wild card team so you can take against the 4th seeded weakest, strongest division loser thing. Maybe that may be the strategy to go to, so at least you get one good win and then go into it, You're supposed to do that against the Jaguars, but you blew that lead. But that was kind of what the plan was supposed to be, wasn't it? So offensive MVP and defense goes to Herbert and Bosa. These are the 2 captains of the team. They've been drafted by these teams. They both have been impact since day one. Both are, pillars of the community, blah, 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 blah. Who else were you thinking is going to be? I mean, maybe Derwin James could have been your candidacy, but I think Bosa remind me of his brother Nick Bosa, where if he doesn't do his job well, the rest of the team has to pick up more slack. Bosa takes so much pressure off the rest of the defense, especially the secondary, if he can disrupt the quarterback's, momentum, motion throw, sense of protection. And Herbert's Herbert. Lives or die by the quarterback, and he has proven why. Verdict for the Chargers. If the Harbaugh rumors are true, then the Chargers are going to the playoffs. Or at least they're playoff bound. Now, is it wrong for me to say that? I'd be like, they're in the playoffs, and they get eliminated in the first week. Like, the Chargers could be the game where they literally have the first game of the entire playoffs, and they lose by 10. That could happen. Like, that's how I feel like we want to be excited for Harbaugh's first year back in the NFL, but if he just makes the playoff, I think we can pop champagne bottles. But I feel like some people want to be like, well, he has to get to at least to the conference championship. And I'd be like, yeah, but does he? So to me, you make the playoffs, but don't be quick. It was a quick exit. So, Chargers go. All right. The number 1 team in the AFC West and probably the AFC. All right, Chiefs fans, calm down. Nick Wright, calm down. Everyone, calm down. I'm sorry. I am not excited for the Chiefs because I kind of was hoping that after the 20 year of Tom Brady and the Patriots, we will take a break where basically the NFL is a little bit more up for grabs than it is. But narrative be damned, the Chiefs are on the verge of becoming the first 3-peat in NFL history. Now, there were teams that have tried and failed. Some have failed and won 2 back-to-back, and some you're thinking, wow, they would have won that first one, they would have 3-peat. And the Chiefs, I mean, Mahomes and the rest of the players have already built on a trajectory that rivals that of the greatest football and greatest sports teams, period. Probably rivaling like the teams like the Montreal Canadiens, the Detroit Red Wings, the Yankees, the Lakers, the Golden State Warriors. Like they're on the verge of being up there as the face of the respected professional sports league and be like the standard moving forward. But in the words of Vision from Marvel, ever since the Chiefs have won these Super Bowls, they have invited, unwanted attention. They have become a target. They have been, you know, now it's not their fault, it kind of is, but basically in their own division and in their own conference, I feel like the narrative of getting players is not just to win, is to beat the Chiefs. I mean, yes, it would be nice to beat the Chiefs in the big state to kind of prove case that I did. I mean, that's what the Bucks did and Tom Brady did, and I'm sure they're still, you know, using that as a way. Yeah, we beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You guys didn't. San Francisco, yeah, 2 chances, but that's just my own bias. Week 1, week 2, Baltimore, Cincinnati. You guys are at home. Yeah, tell me NFL is not rigged. You're gonna put the defending Super Bowl champions, 2-time mind you, against their most probably heated rivals for them potentially going to Super Bowl, and you're gonna take them on in the beginning of the year when most teams don't know what their identity is. This feels so stupid. I'm sorry. This to me was supposed to be for ratings. Honestly, it would have been better rating if it was like week 10. When the season is halfway over and we're trying to find out that who are the winners, who are the contenders, who are the pretenders. But no, you put them in the first 2 weeks of the season, knowing that if the Chiefs were to win or lose, it won't matter until the end. The Chiefs could be 2-0 and then they miss the playoffs. The Chiefs could be 0-2 and still be the number 1 seed with a 13-4 record, which I have them predicted to be. So these 2 weeks are nothing more than just a preview of, well, in 25 weeks we'll find out if their guys are still considered a threat to each other. So to me, this is stupid. 1 was fine, but 2, you put literally the biggest threat for the Chiefs to have to face them when they're basically just as rusty as they are. Okay. And if the Chiefs were to lose both those games, Chiefs heads will explode. There'll be enough. This is clearly this is the situation that people will argue. Yeah, the NFL is not scripted. If it's not scripted, it's clearly played. And then Week 16 versus Houston, which made sense because if Houston is as good as they're going to be, this could determine who's going to get the number 1 seed, and that's what make that more interesting by the week's end. But this, nah. 13-4, 11-6. I still see him being the dominant force in the AFC, number 1 seed, easy. If not, they'll be number 2 or number 3. But they're not going to be as they were last year, where they go to the road through two major road games to get to the Super Bowl. I don't see it this year. I'm still wanting to know about the Rice thing. I haven't heard anything about his suspension for what happened. I'm still wondering about the questions about the Chiefs' defense. They were great. They were the reason they won the Super Bowl last year. I don't care what people say. They were the Chiefs. Mahomes may get all the credit. Travis Kelce may get all the glory. But it was that Chiefs defense, led by Chris Jones. And I want to see if that defense got better. That's the number one thing. If the Chiefs still play like they were last year, then three-peat is almost inevitable. Thanos snapped. Verdict? Oh, sorry. My apologies. I went a little ahead of myself. Offense and defense MVP, Mahomes and Chris Jones. Obviously. I would have put Travis Kelce, but I have to address that Travis Kelce is not looking like Travis Kelce like he was, where he basically took over offensive teams. I want to see what the new rookies they have. Worthy, Rice. I know he got to. I know he's gonna get suspended. If he doesn't get suspended, then obviously it's rigged. He has to be some type of punishment, some suspension for what happened. Even if it was as broad as it is, he has some kind of punishment for what he did. A suspension is gonna happen. So for me, for Chiefs, is Mahomes and Chris Jones. And honestly, I think Chris Jones, that's why he was my MVP, is more of the reason. Now, Mahomes could be, this could be Mahomes going back to his 45 touchdown days, and Travis Kelce might not need to catch 12 of those touchdowns. Travis Kelce is still going to be formidable, but let's be real, guys. How much time he has left? Gronkowski even had some down part toward the end of his career, and he called it quit before he couldn't just barely walk on the field. So to me, guys, yeah, Mahomes MVP, Chris Jones, keep that defense front. Verdict: Super Bowl three-peat, history made. Yes. Now, if I can be I'm running out of time for my small little segment of just of spoiled bratness. I want the Chiefs not to do it. Not because I want Brady to have superiority. No, it's not that. I just want to see Chiefs fans and Nick Wright and all them just, spend, the next 6, 7 months of just, well, you could have a three-peat. I guess you start from scratch again. And plus, I can't help but feel like if the Chiefs don't win it, I feel like some of the veteran players might call it careers, including Travis Kelce. I know he's still under contract, but I'm like, it might be like, dude, I only stay for three-peats, but I can't much longer. And I feel like some players would be like, dude, I want to retire when I can still be functional in society for the next 40 years, 50 years of my life. So, we'll see. I mean, there's always... I'm getting excited to wonder what's going to happen to the Chiefs when Andy Reid calls it a career. I want to see what Mahomes do with a new head coach, because then I want to be able to have that, that discussion of, was it Mahomes or was it Andy Reid that made him great? Because right now they're having a debate about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Pick a side on that one. But anyway, that's the AFC West. Chiefs are going to go for a three-peat because yes. So we're down to our last division. We're going to the East. Again, I didn't really think this through. But we're going to the East. And, well, yeah, right, because I have to. I'm going to the AFC East. So I'll see you guys next time. And remember, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you very much for watching.